You know what? Just cancel the whole fucking thing. Cancel it right now because love may be blind, but the show doesn't fucking work. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Eric, and I don't usually film videos laying down. And if you're not new here, hi, hello, oh, look what is. Skip's here with me, it's my puppy. Yes, how can I help you? How can I help you? I know, okay, you just came back from a walk, you're supposed to be sleeping. Now, if you want to skip the bullshit and the intro and my updates, then you can just follow the timestamps down below and get right into Love is Blind, the second half of the season. But for those of you who care and have been following me for a while, yes, after nearly 10 months of uploading 2 to 3 times a week, I had a health scare. I'd had some pain for over a month at that point, and, one day I just had to go to the emergency room, and turns out I needed emergency surgery. I came home, and 2 days later, I had to have another 3 days later, I had to have another emergency surgery. And ever since, I've just been laying down all day recovering. I can't really walk that much. It's a lot. It's a lot. I'm basically homebound, sofa-bound, whatever you want to call it, and I just decided to take some time off because it's not been the best mental space to film or to edit or to whatever, but I've also missed chatting to you guys. So today's video and the next few videos are going to be less edited, less produced, and just more me talking because I truly miss this, and it's missing in my life, especially for my mental health, because I feel like I'm going crazy in this house. And I wore my special hat, dump him, because love is blind. Okay, let's get into it, shall we? So we all live for the mess, right? We've all, like, I don't even understand the appeal of the show. I just know that it's quite funny. But this season is truly proving that the show just doesn't work. And it's not because love is or isn't blind, it's because people are fucking stupid. People are just trying their luck. I don't know what is going on. I don't know the vetting process that Netflix has in place for the participants of the show, but the mess is just getting bigger and bigger. And this year, out of 7 engagements, we got 2 weddings. Out of 2 weddings, we got 2 yeses, and one of them is just full of fuckery that there's a lot behind the scenes happening that if you're just watching the show on TV, you won't know about. But if you're online and if you've been reading the stories and seeing the pictures and the videos, then you know that Tyler ain't shit. Tyler is a fucking bitch. Tyler is a bitch. But honestly, everyone in the show sucks. Steven sucks ass. Monica sucks ass. Hannah sucks ass. Tim sucks ass. Ramses sucks ass. Marissa sucks ass. They all fucking suck ass. Except Taylor and Garrett. I'll give them that. Taylor and Garrett are the silver lining of the series that shows that sometimes the show does work, and sometimes, yeah, the story has a happy ending. But are we really doing a whole production of an entire show, of an entire season, just to have one married couple make it? Is it really that serious? I say no. I mean, I feel like the ratings of the show are going to be through the roof because of all of the fuckery happening, and there's going to be another season, but it gets to a point where it's sad. Like, okay, we're going to get to the couples individually, and we're going to go in order of when they break up because this is a lot. I'm also not going to do an episode breakdown because there's just a lot of filler shit happening, and quite honestly, talking right now is already quite excruciating. But let's get started with the first couple that breaks up post Cabo, right? So they all go to Cabo, they all go to their honeymoon, and Monica and Steven. I may have been wrong about a few couples. I'll admit when I was wrong. I was wrong about some of my predictions, but I was really right about others. And I was really right about Steven. There's something wrong with him. There's something that we should just not trust. Steven sucks ass. But he sucks ass in a really demented kind of way. Like, not in the normal, he's an asshole, he's just playing with you kind of way. He sucks ass in the way that, like, I think he went on this show to get laid. And not just laid with the person he's supposedly going to marry. I mean get laid a lot after the show with potential fans of the show that see him and think, oh yeah, that ginger fuck is who I want to sleep with. So Monica and Steven, they have a little bump in the road when Monica starts acting quite annoying, being like, "Oh, you haven't gotten me flowers. You're not giving me all of these acts of love that show me that I'm the person for you, that you love me more than anything." And it's like, girl, it's been a few days. Pump the brakes. It's a lot, right? And she was already like on the fence with like going on the show. I don't know why she's there. She's 36. She's desperate to get married and she's very shallow. She's very looks focused, which is again the wrong approach for the show because love is blind, not love has muscles and abs. Then there's a conversation they have about sex because these two just love to talk about sex. They're very open about how active they've been in the bedroom. But Steven hints at like talking about kinks and fetishes and stuff and wanting her to initiate, to take the lead, to really treat him like a piece of meat. Something that he had mentioned in the pods already. He said to her that he thinks it's very hot if she treats him like a piece of meat. And then the whole conversation starts getting weird and he starts talking about her vagina very like objectively, like it's a thing, like it's a sex object. Monica girl, that should have been your first red flag. The way he's talking about your vagina and sex is just very... If you're on the same wavelength as him, is fine. But it's clear that Monica isn't, right? I don't think that Monica is up for experimenting with all kinks out there. She's not really open to exploring all parts of her body, all centimeters of her skin and shit like that. Whereas Steven just looks so eager. Like, he looks eager to get some freaky pussy. He just wants to get freaky in the sheets. And after this conversation, again, something off camera happens because in this season, a lot happens off camera. And then we just have to try to pick up the pieces as they bring it up in a conversation afterwards. But we turn to Monica. She's on the sofa with Taylor and they're talking about Steven while Steven is in the room, which I thought was really funny. And she's like, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. And Steven's just walking around the room all morose, like something bad happened. And it did happen. So turns out Steven went for a sleep test. Not sure what that is. I guess they analyze your sleep pattern for a study. And while he was there, he started sexting a girl that messaged him apparently. And according to Monica, it was a lot about fetishes, like very visual graphic shit that he wanted to do to her about coming and this and that. And Steven's reaction talking about it's like, you're right. No, you're right. And as part of me just sees that he's trying to react in a way that's still gonna put him in a good light in the editing process. Like, he's not gonna give the film crew or production any way to paint him as the bad guy. Like, we need any more. Like, you're already going to be the bad guy, you're already going to be the villain, and people are already going to see the deviant that you are. And I'm not kink shaming anyone. I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm saying that it's wrong that you go on a show where love is blind, you get engaged to a woman, you have sex with said woman, you spend a few days with her, and then you start cheating on her, which he said he did in the pods. Remember when he said that he cheated on his ex-girlfriend when he reached out to someone in DMs and that it was wrong of him and he wanted to start off with complete honesty and he wanted to own up to his mistakes and blah, blah, blah. Well, there you go. Like, their ending is very abrupt. I knew they weren't going to get married, but I didn't expect them to just end so quickly. I think they ended in episode 7. Like, yeah, it was very quick. And I got some comments on my last video when I criticized him for having voted for Trump in 2016. When you're 26 years old and you vote, you can't call it an uneducated vote. You can call yourself a dumb bitch or an uneducated person. If you're 26 and you vote for someone, how can you then go and be like, oh yeah, it was an uneducated vote? Then you suck. Like, you suck. If at 26 years old, you don't take the minimum time to check over your vote and who you're voting for and the person that you're putting in office or wanting to put in office, if you don't take the time to really think about that and the consequences of your vote, then you're just shit. You're 26. You're not a child, right? It's not an excuse anymore to be like, no, I was so young and no. You were 26, a full grown-ass adult. So Monica and Steven break up. Good for Monica for getting rid of him, because that was going to be an interesting wedding. And moving on to the next couple that breaks up. The trauma bond, Tim and Alex. Now, Tim and Alex were the couple that I thought were going to break up straight away, because there was just a lot there that didn't mesh. He was a very calm guy that didn't like arguments. She was very hot-headed, short temper. And most of the conversations we saw on screen in the pods were of them just trauma dumping on each other. And some people also said in my comments on my last video that it's not that bad when you bond over trauma. No, not at all. But it didn't seem like they were bonding over anything else. Like, they weren't really talking about how they both are in their day-to-day lives. It didn't seem like they were talking about how they would gel in real life. It felt almost like, hey, here's all my sad shit that happened to me. Oh my god, poor you. Here's all my sad shit. Oh my god, poor you. Great. Now we love each other because we feel sorry for each other rather than actually understanding who the other person is, their personality. Like, there was never a discussion of personalities. It was more like trauma. That was where I was coming from, and I was right. Fuck, was I right? So, from the get-go, they start bickering over the smallest things, right? And then Tim met Alex's family because Tim insisted on wanting to ask for her hand in marriage from her father. And I've expressed my feelings about that. I wish we would stop, because that all started when fathers had to literally sell their daughters into marriage. And now we're just keeping up with the tradition as if, like, you know, we're seeking the approval of our parents when we marry someone. Why are we, as grown adults, you know, if you're old enough to accept a proposal, you're old enough to accept it without having your parents' approval? I don't understand why your parents needing to say yes to the person is like, because some people make that a make it or break it situation, right? And I think that Alex at some point says that if my dad said no, I don't think I could go through with the wedding. And that just tells me that you're a child. And if you're a child, then you're not ready to get married, regardless of whether or not your dad approves. But nonetheless, Tim is actually very respectful, very traditionally gentlemanly, which she's okay with. And he has a heart-to-heart with her father. He reads a letter that he wrote, the same letter that he read to Alex when he proposed in the pods. And he brings her father to tears, and you know, he's an elderly man who's clearly very ill, and it's a very tender moment, and he gets along with the rest of the family. He cooks a barbecue meal for everyone. He takes the time to really present himself as this, like, man of the family. Whereas Alex isn't like Tim. The moment they walk into Alex's house, I can already tell she's a child. She's not ready to get married. Her house is a mess. She left for the experiment knowing that there was a possibility she would bring home a fiance, and she left that house in a state. Like, girl, hire a cleaner if you must for a day before you leave your house, because that is a pigsty. That was messy, and you can see from Tim's reaction that he's like, okay, I'm not liking this at all. Because you go to Tim's house and everything is neat, petite, in its place, super clean. It's like he says, everything in my house has a purpose, everything has a place and a reason to be there. Whereas in Alex's house, everything is somewhere to put shit on. I think we go into her bedroom and it's just like filled with all of her laundry spread all over the floor. Like that would put anyone off. But nonetheless, they survive seeing each other's mess. And then Tim's parents drive 10 hours to meet Alex. 10 hours. And they hang out on camera for a few hours, and then apparently, as soon as the camera's cut, Alex decided to take a nap. She was tired. She was like, I'm gonna have a nap. And Tim did not like that. And instead of talking about it straight away, instead of telling her that he was upset, he didn't. Then he went to work. Then he tried to message her, and she was working, and she couldn't really talk. And then she got home, and she took a nap. And he tried to call her, and they just couldn't, they couldn't find the time to properly talk, and that pissed him off. It was so funny, because she gets home, she's fixing herself a meal, and he's like, can we talk? And she's like, yeah, sure. And she's like super chill, not knowing that that's the last conversation they're ever gonna have. So she brings her food to the sofa, like super chill, and he just starts dumping on her that he didn't like the fact that she took a nap as soon as the cameras cut rolling when his parents had to drive 10 hours to meet her. He didn't like that she didn't even bother to bring anything to the table when he took the time to cook an entire meal for her family. He took the time to read a letter to her father and make him cry and everything. And she just didn't put any of the effort that he felt like he put. And to some extent, I agree that that would, also annoy me to see that like one person is making a lot more effort with the other person's family. Another part of me is like, Tim went above and beyond because he wanted to and because that's who he is as a person. And he should have known that Alex is not that type of person. And maybe he would have known that if they hadn't spoken so much about their trauma and had spoken more about who they are as people and their expectations as people. There is a clear miscommunication in regards to Tim expecting things but not communicating them, and Alex just thinking she's doing good but not doing good. Tim also has a problem with the fact that Alex has naps, and that shit was funny because Alex is like, "Yo, I need my nap daily. Like I'm stressed. How I deal with stress is I have a nap." And I'm not going to stop having naps. People online were saying that he was too annoyed over the nap, but I get why he was annoyed. He was annoyed because, like, slowly but surely, he noticed all of these small things that weren't compatible with his future or with his expectations of what his marriage would look like. And so he breaks up with her on the spot. He's quite harsh about it. I'm not a fan of how he did it, like, so quickly. So, like, I think he ends it with, "and I don't ever want to see you again," and then just walks out. That was a bit harsh, but I do understand why he did it, because at the end of the day, they didn't really know each other that well, because they spent way too much time talking about their fucking trauma. Okay, maybe it wasn't that. Maybe it wasn't the fact that they just trauma dumped on each other, but I mean, personality wise, you could tell as soon as he's like, "I don't argue. I don't like to yell. I don't like to be taken beside myself." And she's like, "I have a short temper. I love to yell and argue and confrontation." So when you have a confrontational person and a non-confrontational person that clearly live very different lives and have very different expectations, but also communicate in such different ways, you can't expect that to last in a marriage. And it's wild because they met each other's families and had these conversations about like, how would you handle him and how would you handle her? And every time they talk to their family members, they're all so mature about it. "I understand that she's like this, and I understand that he's like this, and I'm going to do this, this, and that." And they just love to talk out of their asses and how mature they're going to be whenever there's an argument that's going to come up. And then the argument actually does come up, and neither of them does shit. Neither of them is putting in half the work they said they were going to when they were talking to each other's families. It's like, what, now that it's time to put in the work, you're not going to because it's too hard? Well, it's a good thing they broke up, but damn, that was also very quick and very abrupt. So 7 engagements, we're down to 4. Next up is Hannah and Nick D. Okay, I want to address something. On my last video, I did side with Hannah in the little tiff they had at the beach when she was jealous of the woman. And okay, just for clarity, I just thought it was a bit tone deaf to openly flirt with someone else the day after you meet your fiance in person, right? It's about the specific context in which that happened. It's like you're still testing the waters with each other. You just met. So obviously, I mean, in my mind, both people need to be a little bit more like aware of how the person is going to feel with every small action, because you're essentially still getting to know each other even after you've spent God knows how many dates talking in the pods and you've agreed to marry each other, blah blah. We all know that as soon as they meet, it's a different ball game, right? It's like they're meeting each other all over again. They already have that foundation, but they have to get to the same place now that they're in front of each other. So I did side with her, although I do understand that like if she's jealous of an old woman who's just being fun and playful with her fiance, then obviously that's not going to work. But boy, oh boy, did Hannah amp it up. Hannah is shit. I want to remind people that we're talking about stuff that we see in the edit. We're not talking about stuff that we see behind the scenes or off camera. So obviously we're not getting the entire full picture of who each person is. But from what we see on camera, Hannah is a child. A child that is full of herself, super condescending. She thinks that the sun shines out of her asshole. and everyone else just needs to catch up and be on her level. From the start, she's very demeaning to Nick, right? She's constantly tearing him down, bringing him down. I think that when they get together and really talk about finances, she starts throwing out like everything that she does, like her 401k plan, her financial plan, her investments, her daily responsibilities, and it's like, it's so good that you have all of that. Let's not forget that this is also the 26-year-old that quit her fucking job to go on Love is Blind. So, like, the way that she's talking to him, like she's this financially responsible person, she has all of these responsibilities and has her shit together, and she wants him to be this grown man. She basically wants him to be a 40-year-old finance bro. That's what she wants. She wants a 40-year-old man who works in finances, because that's the only person that's gonna match this fucking energy. Not only is she obsessed with finances and having everything tabulated in a fucking Excel spreadsheet, but she's also a neat freak. She's obsessed with cleaning, she's obsessed with keeping it tidy. And then the woman that quit her job and is not working at the moment and is spending all day at home doing nothing but whatever the hell she can get her hands on, is then also complaining that Nick needs to walk the dog, and Nick needs to take out the trash, and Nick needs to do this, and Nick needs to do that. And it's like, I understand that you want to split responsibilities. I really do. But if Nick is working all day and you're not working all day, and he's the only person bringing home the money, and you're not actively looking for a job because we haven't seen you try to book a fucking interview the entire time, then maybe you can, I don't know, pull your weight at home and help out and take the fucking trash yourself. It's really not that complicated. Because she's the unemployed one, she could do everything at home, and it still would take her less time than it takes Nick to work all day and bring home the money. And then when she finds a job, then sure, split the tasks, split the chores. But until then, for her to be talking down on him, and it's like, it's obvious that Nick has had a decent life, you know? His parents still pay for his car insurance and his health insurance and whatever else. I mean, if they can pay for his insurance, if he's already on the plan, what's the problem with that, right? And she's like, oh, but when we get married, are you going to be on my health plan, or are you going to continue being on your parents' plan? And clearly he hasn't given that too much thought. I understand that he should start thinking about those things. I understand that he needs to start thinking, like, when we get married, we become a new unit, so I need to get out of my parents' unit and enter this new unit. But he's not going to take the time and do the work for that if you're talking to him like he's a 5-year-old child who just broke a glass. That's just, it's as simple as, Hannah, you want a man, stop treating him like a child. And there's something that she says really disgusting when he points out that she's very demeaning and she's constantly like tearing him down and he doesn't feel like an equal in the relationship. She tells him, I'll start treating you as an equal when you start contributing like an equal. Bitch, you don't have a fucking job. You don't have a job. What do you mean he's not your equal because he's not contributing? What, because he's not doing Excel spreadsheets on his spare time on who cleans the bathroom on what day, and all of a sudden he's not your equal? Like, she is fucking annoying as hell. Annoying. God, she's one of the villains of the season for sure. Then there's this gathering that they have, like this 1920s inspired party or whatever, and she's talking to someone, I think it's Monica or Taylor, whatever. She's talking about their sex lives, and she talks about how basically she's turning him into a man. She's the one who's turning him into a man, because he's a boy, and she's making him a man, even in the bedroom. And then goes on to detail how, for example, he doesn't like to go down on her, and she has to teach him on going down on her, and she's having to teach him what to do in bed during sex. This man was already uncomfortable talking about sex on camera because of his work, because of him being a real estate agent and wanting to like build an actual career out of it. And here you have this bitch going on camera and talking about what he does and doesn't do in the bedroom. And then saying that obviously men feel emasculated when you have to teach them how to do things in bed, which I agree with. Men have very sensitive egos and you can't really point anything out because they're going to be like, well, I'm not man enough for you. My God. Yeah. But how do you think he's going to feel? If you think he's going to feel emasculated by you telling him what to do in bed, how do you think he's going to feel by you going on national fucking television on camera talking about what he does and doesn't do during sex? Hannah, I'm begging you to fucking crack a book. Hannah loves to preach how mature she is, but she's not. She's an immature child. And that is very glaring when she introduces him to her family. She introduces him to her parents and I think her little brother or her little sister. And the entire time, her parents are being lovely. They're being very welcoming of Nick. They're like, okay, our daughter chose you. We're going to trust her judgment. Welcome to the family. We're not going to like grill you. And she's like, what? You're not going to grill him? What? You're not going to grill him? Like, you're not going to ask him a lot of questions? You're not going to make him super uncomfortable and make him wish he'd ever met me? Like, it's almost like she wants her parents to question her decision when her parents are just like fully trusting her judgment. A lot of things wrong here. First of all, the parents shouldn't trust her judgment because clearly she's an immature child. Second of all, why are you like basically begging your parents to make him feel uncomfortable? Why are you, it's like she's looking for reasons to break up with him. It's like, if you're so mature and in charge of your life, you should not need your parents to tell you that it's a wrong decision for you to break up with him. If you have so many opinions of him and how you feel, then you should just feel confident enough to break up with him. Like, if you're that insecure, if you're that full of like, oh, because I don't know, there's the small things in our daily lives, like, I don't think that we're compatible. Bitch, if you're not compatible, then break it off. But don't expect your parents to come in and do the dirty work for you, because that's what she was fishing for. She was fishing for her parents to come in and point out a bunch of flaws on Nick so then she could be like, well, my parents did say that you were like this, so I don't think we can get married. But the worst part is, and this is how you know that Hannah really is immature and not ready for marriage and just needs a slap. When Nick goes to the bathroom, her own parents are like, aren't you being a bit harsh on him? Aren't you being a bit like, aren't you looking for problems where they don't exist? And she's like, oh, but no, but like, I love him. Like, I really do. But like, and then she just goes on and lists a bunch of shit that she doesn't like about him. Because that's what Hannah does. The entire time, she's like, I really love him. I love him so much. But... and then lists out 20,000 things that she doesn't agree that Nick does, or that Nick is immature, or that Nick is a child, or has a big ego. And it all goes back to that list that she did after the first tiff they had, where she called him immature, delusional, too much ego, cocky. It's like, that man is a flirty man. Everybody knew about that. Everyone in the pods knew that he was flirty. You chose him. You liked that about him. You liked that beyond the flirtiness, he also gave you a real person. But it's almost like now that you're in front of him, now that he's not making you feel like this petite, sweet girl, then you just don't want to be with him anymore. Because Nick is not, what, 7 feet, 300 pounds of pure muscle? Then you don't like, because someone said online, and it's a great observation, Hannah had a lot of body issues, self-image issues, right? She wasn't confident in herself or her looks. And someone pointed out that she is quite a tall woman. So as a tall woman, she probably feels a bit more masculine than other girls. So she wants a man to make her feel more feminine. She wants an uber masculine, super big buff man so that she can feel super petite and neat in the relationship and super girly. And because Nick is not super tall or super muscular, then automatically she treats him like a child, like he needs to grow into this big man to make her feel good about herself. Bitch, those are issues you need to solve in therapy, not on Love is Blind. You don't need to go on a reality show and demean someone nonstop all the time to make yourself feel better. And then at this same party where she talks about how much her fiance doesn't satisfy her sexually in bed, he talks to someone that he'd had a connection with. And this woman, who's Hannah's friend, tells Hannah beforehand that she finds him very attractive. And then we actually watch the conversation, and she's older than he is. She's like in her mid-30s, and he's in his late 20s. And they have a lovely conversation where she admits that he's very handsome, very attractive, and she senses that he's a good person. But she also gives him great advice that he doesn't always have to lead with this flirty persona, that he can lead with who he is as a person, with his values, because she can see in him like very beautiful values and a beautiful soul and just a beautiful person in general. And he appreciates that advice, that feedback, I guess. And it's just a lovely conversation that is no way sexual or like trying to flirt or anything. Obviously that they had a connection, so obviously there's like an energy, but it's really nothing threatening to Hannah. And of course they get home and Hannah starts an argument because he was talking to her for so long and because she said that he was so attractive, and he's like, well, It's not my fault that she finds me attractive. What are you talking about? And the argument goes on, and it's like she riles him up, creates all of these issues, tears him down, and then, out of nowhere, okay, I'm ready for bed. And it's like, what? Like, in the middle of the argument, yeah, no, let's talk about it tomorrow morning. I'm really tired. I don't think we're gonna get anywhere near tonight. Okay, night. The switch in that woman, that in a moment she was ready to go to battle, and then all of a sudden, nope, I'm good. Let's just go to bed and sleep, and we can talk about it tomorrow. Love you, bye. Then we meet Hannah's brother or best friend, a gay boy, and the entire dinner, Hannah keeps taking jabs at Nick and jabs and makes him feel smaller and smaller. And you can see in Nick's face that his self-confidence is in the fucking gutter. Like, she is tearing this man down so much that by the end, we're really gonna have a Nikki D, like a small Nikki D. And when she gets out of the room, he even talks to her friend, and he admits that she can be too much. He admits that she is a bit of a bitch. Her own fucking best friend says that Hannah loves to insult people and throw jabs and digs at people, but the minute you give her the same energy, all hell breaks loose and she takes it super personally. Yeah, exactly. Hannah's a fucking child. Hannah's the type of person that loves to insult people because you're not going to insult her back. Because in her mind, she's just joking and she's being funny. But the moment you say something, she takes it personally because she knows you mean it. She's a fucking idiot. But I'd argue she's also manipulative because when she meets his family, she is lovely. Lovely gal, super charming, knows how to talk to his parents, knows how to talk to him finally. I think it's the only time that she talks to him like a human being. And of course, his parents think she's great when she's not. Because then he meets her friends, and there's just so many instances where she keeps tearing him down. And in front of her friends, she then gets her friends to do the dirty work that her parents weren't, which is to dig at him. To call him immature, to say that he's not ready for marriage because he hasn't had the daily responsibilities that he will have over marriage. Like, no one has the same responsibilities in their single life that they're gonna have when they're married. It's part of getting married. It's part of getting more responsibilities and handling them. And he keeps saying that he's ready for them. He's ready to take charge and he's ready to handle all of these new responsibilities and everything. And they just keep saying, no, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not a man yet. You're just a boy. And then they have another argument and she's like, I made you into a man because you were just a little boy. She's just so full of herself. And for some reason, this poor man is so in love with her. I don't know what he's in love with, but he just keeps staying with her. He stays with her until eventually she breaks up with him. And Hannah was really trying to flip the script on camera. She was really trying to make it seem like he's the one that came onto this experiment with ulterior motives, that he's the one that she doesn't know, that he's the one who's not ready for marriage and he's not putting in half the work that she is. When we've seen the footage, Hannah, we know you're the problem. We know you are the fucking problem. And the entire time, he's, like, trying to keep it together and saying, like, no, but you like, tear me down every day. You're constantly digging at me and throwing jabs at me, and I just feel like you're not treating me like your partner. And she just keeps going, like, I don't know who you are. I don't even know if you love me. I don't even know if you're able to love. I don't know what you were thinking going on this experiment. You're not ready. She's just projecting all of the problems that are coming from her insecurities onto him and making it seem like it's him. And even when they're talking in the interviews to the cameras, she's just like very assertive, like, no, he is the problem. Like, I did everything I could do and I put in all the work and he's just not the same person and he just came on the show to lie and I don't know who I was marrying, but I'm so glad that I'm not doing it. Meanwhile, Nick is like, this is like the saddest day of my life. For the first time ever, I've fallen in love with someone and now I'm getting my heart broken on TV. Like, it's really fucking sad. So she breaks up with him and he even hugs her after. And ugh. Oh, Nick, just tell her to fuck off. But that's another breakup. That's third, right? Got one more before we move on to Tyler, you fucking bitch. So, Ramses and Marissa. What a roller coaster. Ramses and Marissa, I really thought they were gonna make it, right? Marissa's a bit annoying, but they seem to bond pretty well. They loved each other's energies in the pods, and from the get-go, they seemed to love each other physically. They had a great connection. They started sleeping together straight away, and then the problems started happening. The first hiccup they have is when they talk about military, because she has a background in military and he is super against military. And I was really surprised that Love is Blind actually aired as much of the conversation as they did, because I know that Love is Blind loves to stay apolitical. But remember, you might not do politics, but politics are still gonna do you. But I was surprised and glad that they aired this conversation, though I wish they had given it a bit more time, because I thought they were cooking something when they were starting to talk about Israel and Palestine, but whatever. So they talk about the military and how Ramses, being an immigrant, is against it. Right? He's against imperialism and colonialism, as everyone should be, because it's literally when you go to someone else's land, you kill them, you take it for yourself, and you say, no, this is mine because I found it. No, it's not. Someone else was there, but you have more power. That's what you do. That's what colonialism does. And that's what the United States does. The United States uses its military force to go to other countries that don't belong to you, with under the guise of helping the governments, helping unstable governments, and then you just you get your ass there, you build a base, and then you start stealing resources and implementing your rules. Like, it's as simple as that. You go there, you steal their resources, you order them around, and then you come back and your soldiers have PTSD. And Marissa talks about how, like, being in the military was basically an opportunity for her to get an education and to get a better life. And I understand that the military does that for a lot of people. A lot of people go to the military so they can go to college without having to pay extortionate amounts of money, which again is a different problem. Like, you shouldn't have to pay $120,000 to get a college education, go to Europe. I got mine for less than $3,000. There are other ways to do it. You don't have to. Like, I'm not going to turn this into a political conversation. Long story short, Marissa admits that now, after having been in the military and after coming back, she's now not as pro-military as she was, because when she was there, she saw a lot of bad things being done. She was expected to do bad things. She was asked to do bad things, and she did them. And at the time, she thought she had to do them. But now, in hindsight, she's like, maybe I had a choice. Maybe I shouldn't have done them. And I understand now that the military isn't great. I'm still supportive of my military brothers and sisters, but I'm not as pro as I was for it. Whereas Ramses is completely against the system, completely against the military. They get over that bump, which to me seemed like a big enough bump to break it off straight away, because if you don't agree on something as core value as that, as important and as crucial as that, then you shouldn't be together. But they do. And there's something really funny that she says. She says that it was Barbie the movie that opened her eyes to the patriarchy. And this is when, like, it becomes more than clear, if there were any questions before, that Marissa is just not all there. And what I mean by that is, I don't think she ever cared enough to get into politics or to understand politics or the world around her. How are you only gonna wake up to the patriarchy and the effects of patriarchy after watching Barbie? Because Barbie is like a year old, right? Came out last year. Marissa's a full grown-ass woman. Where were you, girl? Where were you? Were you just like la-di-da-di-da through life? And it comes back to the fact that she dated a Trump supporter for 3 years. Like, how are you going to date someone that actively votes against your rights, against your own existence? Like, do you just not care? Are you just dumb, right? Like, something doesn't make sense, but this bitch needs to get more active with her politics and with her brain, because, like, it's not stuff that you should admit so openly and brazenly on TV. But they get over that, and he meets her family. He meets her family, her mom, her sister, and her brother, and let me just say that her mom is her mom is such an unpleasant. I get that you want to defend your daughter and you want what's best for her, but you're just coming into it with the wrong approach. First of all, she calls her own daughter a bitch. She's like, yeah, she's a bitch. She's unpleasant from beginning to end. Like, there's no, like, joy or kindness in her voice. It's like she's coming in to tell Ramses that he's a bitch. She insults his fashion. She insults his look. Then she tells him that she wants them to sign a prenup because her daughter, who's studying to be a lawyer, is obviously going to be very rich in the future. And she wants to make sure that he's not with her for her money. And I was like, what? Do you think he's thinking that far ahead, that he's with her in case she gets rich out of being a lawyer? Like, first of all, there's a lot of different types of lawyers. Not all of them are that rich. Are they? Are American lawyers just like swimming in money no matter what kind of law they practice? Is that a thing? Or is she just like studying a specific type of law that gives people a lot of money? Because the way she's talking about her daughter, it's like, I know my daughter is going to be the next Elon Musk, and I want you to know that you're not getting your dirty paws on her money. She's just coming in way too harsh, like doing too much. And then like even when Ramses is trying to talk, the fact that he's been married before, and she's like, I don't need you to explain marriage to me. I've been married before. It's like, bitch, shut up. Like, shut the fuck up. Who invited this bit? And it's clear that Marissa and her mom don't have the best relationship. Marissa even tells her, like, I don't need your permission. I don't need your like, I don't need your blessing. I'm going to marry him whether you like it or not. I'm going to make my own decisions, and I don't need your opinion into it. I'm introducing you guys because you're my mom, but at the end of the day, I'm going to do what I want to do. And I admire that about Marissa, you know, because her mom just seems very overbearing, and I'm sure that there's a lot of trauma and a lot of like stuff unresolved in that relationship, but you're old enough to act better on TV than to just come in with all of that energy and heat for no reason, because you're just meeting this man. But then shit goes sideways. I was a Ramses defender. I was. And then the first bullshit is when she's having a tough time because she's on her period. And she seems to not be wanting to get physical with him in bed. And he is beside himself. Almost like he's been denied pussy for too many years. He's like, oh my God. The way he's acting, like, is this gonna be like a recurring thing? Because like I'm very physical and touchy-feely, and I need my needs met. And if you're not meeting them, like, I just want to know if that's going to be a problem. And she's like, well, I have really bad cramps, and when I'm on my period, sometimes I'm not into sex. Yeah, that is going to be a thing because I'm a woman and I have a monthly period. Why is she having to explain to this grown man what a period is and what it feels like? Ramses, you were married before. You had a wife. You've dated women before, right? But he's almost doing this like emotional manipulation as if she's like obligated to sleep with him because they're engaged. That's bullshit, okay? Violation can happen whether or not you're in a relationship. A violation isn't always from a stranger. Marital rape is a thing. Let's not forget. So the fact that he's like pressing this issue so much, and like she's visibly uncomfortable and upset and like not liking the conversation, and he's just flippy floppy, like he makes it an issue, but then he's like, no, but I understand, like I'm not saying it's an issue, but like in the future, like, would it be an issue? But like, I know it's not an issue. It's like, no, it's gonna be an issue. It is an issue. You're making it an issue, and you're just trying to act like it's not an issue after you've made it an issue. Not only that, but he's pressuring her to have unprotected sex, right? So they're not as active as they were in the first few days. Only for them to then, the episode before the weddings ends with a supposed like conversation that he's had with his family behind the scenes. And long story short, he breaks up with her because of her energy. He starts the conversation with like, oh yeah, there's just some things that I'm not sure what would look like in 2 years. I'm just not sure. I really love you. I'm just not sure. I'm having doubts. I'm having questions. And she's like, but what like, obviously we all have fears and we all have insecurities and we all have like unknowns, and it's like, it's a risk. And it's like, yeah, but it's a risk falling in love with someone and giving your heart to someone. She's like, yeah, that's falling in love. It's a risk that anyone takes. And he's like, yeah, but I'm not sure what it's going to look like in 2 or 3 years. And, you know, I've been married before, and I don't want to hurt you. And then it's just like, it's a whole lot of nothing. It's a salad of nothing that Ramses is throwing out. He's just tiptoeing around the subject. Like, why are you really doing this? Like, why are you really so insecure? And he's like, there's so many tangible things that like aren't really gelling for me. I'm not sure. And she's like, okay, like what? And he's like, your energy, you know, like your energy sometimes can be a bit much. And then when you come home from work and like you bring all of this stuff from work, and it's just like, I'm not sure if that's what I want in the future, if that's what I'm looking for. And Marissa, I wasn't a fan of Marissa in the first place, but like what she goes through, like she did not deserve that. The way that he just gaslights her into thinking that this is like something has happened for it to just be like, oh yeah, your energy can be a bit much. She starts crying, sobbing, visibly like heartbroken. She is heartbroken. And even though he's basically telling her, I don't want you. She's still like trying to find common ground and trying to like understand why he's feeling the way he's feeling. And she's crying and he's just like dead ass looking at her like, I just don't know. And those tears aren't coming out of Ramses' eyes. In fact, I don't even think he's sad. I don't think this fuck is sad. And what really broke my heart is like, he tells her that it's her energy, she's too much. And she was like, but you loved my energy in the pods. Like, I've been like this the entire time. And he was like, yeah, and I did love your energy. But like, now that we're out of the pods and we're in real life and we're just like in our daily lives, and it's like, I just don't know if I can handle it. Like, I feel like it's too much. And Marissa says, that's what every guy tells me. They love my energy for the first few weeks, and then they always tell me that it's too much, and they always break up with me. As she is crying. And that really broke my heart, because that is really shitty, you know? Because like, what Ramses is basically telling her is that I can't handle you as a person. After you've spent weeks only getting to know who she is as a person. After you spent weeks only being in contact with who she is as a person and with her fucking energy. And after what, 2-3 weeks, now it's too much? What? Ramses, what? Oh my god, Ramses, suck on a fucking dildo. Ew. Like, Ramses really went from like the saving grace of the season to being the biggest bitch in the cast. Like, come up with a better excuse. And apparently it was the people in his family that he spoke to, I don't know, his mom, his brother, his sister, whoever the fuck, that kind of put his like ideas in his mind, these insecurities, these fears, and now that he's spoken to them, he's not sure. If their opinion was really that fucking important for you to get married first and foremost, you wouldn't have gone on Love is Blind where you get engaged before you talk to them or introduce them to your fiance. Let's just start there. And if you have that many reservations about getting married again and about falling in love again and about like committing to someone, why the fuck would you go on Love is Blind? If your first marriage still lingers in your mind that much and those fears are still so fucking active, why would you go on Love is Blind? Like, it doesn't make any sense. You saw the red flags from the beginning. You knew that it wasn't going to work out. So why did you drag it all the way to here and then just break this woman's heart like this? Why would you even tell her that it's her energy? Like, that's just... It's like saying, yeah, you're great in small doses. And all of that after you pressured her to have unprotected sex with you, after you guilted her for not having sex with you while she's in fucking pain, you break up with her because of her energy. My favorite thing online is people saying that he's got 2 tampon strings hanging out of his head. And when he was hugging her, because, you know, she was sobbing, crying, and yet she still wanted a hug from this man because at the end of the day, she's in love with him. We see that he's wearing a fucking thong. Not to shame anyone wearing thongs, but I thought it was really funny and jarring how like he's so dead serious and she's sobbing because her heart is completely shattered. And he's just wearing a fucking thong. And I don't even want to know what Marissa's mom is going to do, because Marissa calls her mom and she's just sobbing uncontrollably saying like, this hurts so much, this hurts so much. I think Marissa's mom is going to catch Ramses and split him in 2. And honestly, go for it. Like, even the guys that you think are going to be cool aren't, right? Then we got Taylor and Garrett. Taylor and Garrett are the best couple. They have a small disagreement in the middle of it, but it's not even worth talking. They're fine. They're both nerds. They both have notepads to read their vows off of, and they get married. They say yes, all great. Not sure if they're still together, because she was wanting to move across the country to be in San Diego, and he would have to move away from his entire family and friends and job. And he said that he was willing to do that because he loved her so much. That could be something that comes back to bite them in the ass, but for now, all good. And finally, we got Tyler and Ashley. So Tyler and Ashley were one of the couples that I thought were going to make it. And then after I posted my last video on it, I found online that turns out Tyler has 3 kids, right? He's got 3 kids that he hasn't told Ashley about. Hasn't told anyone about. We didn't know. Up until episode 6, Tyler had no kids. Now, it does come up after, because even though Tyler and Ashley don't have a lot of airtime the rest of the episodes, it does come up that Tyler has 3 kids. Apparently, she found out off camera, because they always find these things off camera. And they're talking about it, and Tyler says that he basically donated sperm to a lesbian couple, and they've had 3 kids. They're biologically his, but he's never met them. He's not involved in their lives. He just basically, he donated sperm to help a family have kids, and that's that. He should have told her, especially considering how many conversations they've had about wanting kids. There's even a conversation they have in Cabo where he says that he spent Christmas alone or something, and that he really wants to have kids and have a family to spend Christmas with, and yada, yada, yada. It's something that you definitely should bring up in the pods if you've donated sperm and you know that you have 3 kids out there that are biologically yours. Even if you're not involved in their lives, it's an important detail to mention, especially when you know the couple that gave birth to the kids. And that's something that Ashley eventually comes to terms with, because she is very much in love with him still. She does love him and she does want to be with him. And she's willing to forego of his lack of upfront honesty in that regard, because she doesn't want to throw away this incredible man she has in front of him. Then he meets her father, and when her father is quiet, he looks the same age as Tyler. I don't know what Ashley's dad is doing, but that man looks great. And then they go skydiving, like she had mentioned she wanted to do the day before the wedding with her fiance, and it's all beautiful. Again, if you only watch the series, you can kind of okay, they're getting through these issues, they're getting through their differences, and I think they're going to find common ground and end up together. And they do. They get to the altar, they both say yes, they both get legally married. Now, the problem with these 3 kids is that the internet is alive and well. People are alive and well and people talk. And I genuinely want to know what Tyler was thinking going on Love is Blind, and first try to hide his kids, and then lie completely about the circumstances in which these children were brought to life. So, as it turns out, Tyler did donate sperm to a lesbian couple that he knew. He was friends with one of them, he knew the couple, he donated his sperm because he wanted to help them have kids. That's great. So one of them, his friend, got pregnant with a child, and this is all coming from the mother of the child. When she was 9 months pregnant, the lesbian couple broke up, and the other woman that wasn't pregnant moved across country, and they kind of agreed to co-parent, which I'm not sure how you do that with a newborn when you both live on opposite ends of the country. But anyway, the couple broke up before the first child was even born. And Tyler was there, he knew the mom, so he stuck around, and he said he was happy to be involved, to help the mom in raising the child, to help raise his own son as his son. So the first child is born, they start raising the kid together, co-parenting and all of that. And then, even though she had lived her entire life as a lesbian, this is all in her own words, one thing led to another, and they ended up sleeping together. I don't know if it was 1 time, twice, 3 times, if it was an ongoing thing for a while. But Tyler slept with the woman that gave birth to his son, and she got pregnant with twins. So 1 child was a sperm donation. The next 2 children were the natural, traditional, God-intended way of making babies, horizontally. And because this wasn't a donation, and because these children were not pre-planned, he obviously took over the responsibilities of a father, the parental duties. So at this point, they're still just friends. They're not in a relationship or anything, even though she became pregnant and all that. They remained friends, and they raised these kids together. He had a Facebook page full of pictures. I found some videos online, so I'm going to put some visuals illustrating how much Tyler didn't know these children and how much he wasn't present in their lives. And they were raising these kids together. They were friends. Everything was just super cool. It was like a modern family type of thing. And she was even aware that he was going on this show. The day before he left for the show, they met up, they spoke about things, he saw his kids, and they were so friendly with each other that she was genuinely rooting for him to find someone on the show. They had even discussed her and the kids coming to attend the wedding. All great. And then he gets on the show, and once he comes back from the pods, she tries to contact him. He doesn't reply. Then he deletes the Facebook that he had with all of the pictures of him with the kids. And these are videos that she posted on her personal Instagram a week or so ago. And obviously the show was filmed a year ago. She says that he hasn't seen his kids since the day before he left for the show. She's tried to reach out several times, especially because he still has to pay for childcare that he hasn't paid in God knows how long. She's tried to reach out several times. She's tried all possible avenues, and he's just been super unresponsive. And so she's had no choice but to expose the entire story online. And there's no reason for this woman to be lying because there is a lot of proof online that he was involved with his kids. Remember the Christmas that he said that he spent alone? He spent it with his fucking kids. The conversation they were having about him wanting kids and wanting a family to spend Christmas with Ashley, and this whole time he was already spending fucking Christmas with his family. So Tyler went on the show with 3 kids that he was raising, then pretended like he didn't have them. Then he lied about them being just like a sperm donation and that he never met them, that the kids don't know what he looks like. And then he legally married this woman. His entire fucking family attended the wedding. They probably knew that he had fucking kids. And no one was able to say anything to Ashley. And Ashley was like, oh yeah, I have great intuition. Girl, no you don't. No you don't. Like, your intuition could not be further from the fucking truth. And okay, first of all, we have the reunion next week, so that's gonna be juicy as fuck, because there's no way in hell that Ashley still doesn't know that he's got 3 fucking kids that he was raising. Okay? But the next issue, the big issue with all of this is how the fuck did Netflix, how the fuck did production, the Lachey's, whoever the fuck, allow this woman to legally marry someone that was lying so much to her? She became a fucking stepmom without knowing. Like, it's one thing to say, oh yeah, I donated sperm and a different couple is legally raising them. It's another thing to, like, actually have fucking kids of your own. 2 of them are in your name. And now you're making this woman a stepmom without her knowledge. Like, how is Netflix allowing that to happen? Like, do you not vet your fucking contestants? Or do you just like to watch drama unfold and ruin people's lives? Like, this shit's beyond funny. This is not like a man getting humiliated at the altar because he treated the woman wrongly. It isn't about 2 people just not liking each other's looks when they meet for the first time. This is not 2 people who turns out can't live in the same house because their routines are so different and they're just different people. This is a woman getting legally married to someone that is raising kids without her fucking knowledge. And the man just lying to her face on camera. Everyone in his family lying to this woman's face. Turning her into a legally married woman, and for what? Like, do you all not understand what that could do to someone? Do y'all not understand the fucking the mental health consequences of something like this? First of all, if people act normal like they fucking should, she's not the one that's gonna come out of this looking like a douchebag. She's not the clown in this story, it's Tyler. But we don't know what it's like to be in her position, to have your entire life exposed like that, to have someone lie to your face on television like that, everyone seeing it, taking you for a fucking fool. And then it's the legal ramifications, and Netflix, the production team, didn't think to be like, actually, Ashley, before you go through this life-changing decision, he's actually raising the kids. No one thought that was a good idea. They thought, no, let's just let this woman go through with it. Like, what the fuck, Netflix? What? Like, this is insane. It's insane. It's insane. But it happened. Tyler and Ashley also got married. What the fuck? And that was it for Love is Blind Season 7 so far. We still got the reunion left, so you best believe I'm gonna give my opinions on that. But yeah, that was it. That was what the fuck. Like, it was just like a domino effect. Like, as soon as one couple broke up, the other ones just like went down like dominoes. It was crazy. What a wild season. 7 engagements, 2 marriages, and only one of them is worth a damn. Like, I think it's time to cancel the show, really, because this is just, it's getting silly now. It almost feels scripted. You know, I mean, I don't think it's scripted because I think a lot of the emotions we see on television are real, but like, are they worth it? Is Netflix providing these contestants with mental health support after the filming of the show? Is Netflix actually taking the steps to ensure the contestants have a decent future afterwards, or are they just washing their hands off of them as soon as filming is done? The Lachey's are the fucking devil, man. And people, stop applying for the show. Like, come on, what are we doing? What are we doing? Do you really want to be famous that much? It used to be that when you wanted to be super famous, you just filmed something on YouTube, like, really ridiculous, and you went viral. Now you go on a full-on reality TV show to fucking clown people. Why? Weirdos, all of them. Fucking weird people. Weird, weird, weird. But yeah, that's it for today. Love is Blind. My god, this is wild. Guys, if you've watched so far, thank you so much for tuning in. If you like this video, feel free to leave it a like down below. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already. Click that bell notification so you never miss a future upload from me. Comment down below. Air out your thoughts. I'm glad to be back. I'm going to try and get back to my regular posting, although it's going to be difficult for a while because my recovery takes weeks, if not months, which is lovely. It's been a fucking journey so far, but I'm glad that I can reconnect with you guys again because I really missed it's weird, but like I just really miss like talking to you guys and it's like airing my thoughts, and I'm not doing as much scripted stuff right now because I don't have the energy or the yeah, it's just difficult to do anything at all right now. I don't know how I'm gonna edit this video still. I don't know how long it's gonna take me, but I'll do my best to. It's not gonna be as edited, so hopefully you guys still tune in and you still like and all of that. But slowly but surely, we'll get back to form. We'll get back to where we were before. And until then, I hope you stick around for the journey. And it's been fun today. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you again for being on that side. And until next time, stay safe, stay sane, stay stupid, and stay stuttering. Bye, guys.